Hey guys, welcome to Frankie Salon. My name's Pete, this is Brooke and Amy, my two style directors, and today we're going to be taking you through how to create some amazing blondes like on our Instagram. Alright guys, so this is my gorgeous model Beth, and she's getting her hair coloured for the first time, so I'm very grateful. My objective for today is to create something that is like Beth has just gone to Greece for a few months and has come back from holiday. So it'll be completely lived in, completely natural, a bit of highlighting around the face, and just a few nice ribbons of colour coming through the ends. But something that's a really, really easy, simple technique that would take in the salon about 30 minutes, and then it will look amazing, and it will look like she's literally just been on holiday. You ready?
Ready.
Let's do it. All right guys, so today for my formula, I'm not gonna be using an enlightener, and I feel like often when people are doing a virginal color, they often go straight to a bleach or an enlightener. So today, I'm gonna be using a high lift tint or an ELC, and my tonal value is gonna be Pastel B and Pastel V. My mixing ratio will be 1:2, and I'll be using 40 volume to get maximum lift. My brand of foil, which I love, is Foil Me Foil Wide Flat, and my choice of brush is Framar. All right, so for my ELC or high lift tint, I'm gonna have 40 grams of color, and it's really important that you're very specific with your actual, not just putting it in, actually make sure that you're reading it properly. And I'm gonna have 4 grams of each tone. 4 grams of each tone, so my tonal value will be 8 grams of pigment. Normally would be 4 to a standard 40 gram mix, but I wanna have that extra pigment in there. So I'm gonna have 4 grams of pastel blue, and then I'm gonna have 4 grams of pastel violet, and I'm gonna have 80 grams of 40 vol. There's one thing having a great sectioning pattern and great foiling technique, but I'm much more of a visual colorist, so I'll actually look at the hair and go, I want to see lightness here, where is it a bit flat? I want to see lightness coming through. I don't want my ends to be too saturated with color, and I want it to look just really natural. So where I'm going to focus on today is mainly around Beth's hairline. Then I'm going to be coming through and making sure that when these pieces fall through, that I'm going to be seeing some nice ribbons of color coming through in here, and vice versa, matching on the other side. I'm not going to over color through the top, because I mainly want to do a halo of color all the way around the bottom, and then I'll just have a few connecting pieces coming through to make sure that I don't have a dark blanket and then just lightness underneath, but I've got nice pieces of color coming all the way through. It is going to be super soft and super natural, but it is a great way to introduce your clients to color without making them feel over-colored. Back of Beth's hairline on the same angle as her hairline. My sections will be inch wide. As I said before, I don't want to be creating too much color coming through for Beth for her first time. With this section, just change me Beth, thank you so much. Taking it from the face all the way down to the nape of the neck. I'll then be taking a really wide flat weave, like so, and then I'm actually going to be teasing that coming from about halfway down the hair, pushing that hair all the way up because I want that really, really soft blend. I'm going to try to avoid to tone Beth today, just to minimize time, and also for the client, that way the color's not going to change either, so it'll just stay the same from today as to when she comes and has it done in a few months' time. Placing the foil right up, I'm going to be pushing that back coming up further into the root, and then with my brush, keeping it flat, starting halfway down, painting towards the bottom, and I'm going to turn my brush around, and I'm going to actually flick the color up to the root and feather that up. So we've got no harsh lines anywhere. My brush is really flat and coming through, and I'm making sure that I've got plenty of product on that foil, and really not just painting it on, but working it in, flipping your brush around and saturating that hair. Another really good trick that I use is to fold the bottom of the foil up, keeping this hair here, and if we fold that there, this hair here is left in the cold. But if I flip it up again, it's now close to the root, which is creating more heat on those bottom bits, which means they'll be brighter coming through the bottom. So what I've got here is I've done my first 2 foils, which are both really wide flat weaves that are being backcombed. This hair is really, really, really important to color because it's what swings around underneath and what we see coming through. So what I'm gonna do is here, so it's really soft, is I'm just gonna pinch the bottom, and I'm gonna heavily tease this because I don't want there to be much color, but I want it to have little pops of color coming down underneath. Beautiful, thank you. And what that teasing does is, so if you think about why we're teasing, it's removing all of this hair that is from down here up here. And then when we pull that out, it blends the hair. The less teasing, the more color. The more teasing, the less color. So I think if you back comb heaps and heaps and heaps, you're not going to get much color down here. Pat comb a little bit, you're going to get much more saturation. I've gone into the medium, so I want to see a bit of a pop, but not too much. Again, with painting this on, saturating the bottom heavily, that's where I want to see some color, and I'm just going to be working my way up and sort of a little bit higher towards the face and a little bit lower towards the nape of the neck. Just constantly feathering and making sure we've got heaps and heaps and heaps of saturation. A really great tip as well, to get that really beautiful seamless blend, instead of just taking your sections straight down and back combing and then painting, if we over direct them forward this way, and then we paint, and then when that drags back, you end up just getting this really beautiful sweep of color. This is a really great example. If you just have a look here, Beth's natural hair is literally got this blonde streak coming through here. Normally when we go to Greece every year, this this happens naturally. So what I'm going to try and do is actually just mimic that blur from here into that lightness. So if I was doing a standard face frame, I'd probably be foiling to the root. However, I've been given very strict instructions that there was to be no stripe or anything at the front. So I'm going to be teasing all of my sectioning to avoid any of that really hard line. I'm going to leave Beth's natural color out at the very front, because I don't want there to be that right on the hairline. But just behind that, following the shape of the hairline, I'm going to be doing everything within my power to make it soft. So to make things soft, I'm going to be weaving, and I'm going to be back combing. So I'm going to be weaving out my section really, really fine, and then I'm actually going to be back combing that as well. So even more softness. And if she says it isn't soft, there's nothing more we can do. What I'm going to do now, I've gone a bit rogue from my plan, but we're going to leave some exposed pieces out. Because I'm not going to be putting them in the foil, they're going to be even softer than what I've done in the foil, because it doesn't have the heat to process it, but I'm just going to freehand just a few sprinkles of colour coming through here. Alright guys, so this is Beth. We have finished off. She's just got back from Greece and it looks amazing. What we ended up doing was just going around and doing a few more foils than first anticipated. I got stuck into Beth's hair, and there's so much hair. So to get that dimension, I did add a few more than I wanted to, but I'll put that on my head sheet. And what we have done in the end is done like more of a halo of color. So as all of this opens up, we have all these beautiful ribbons of color coming through. There's no toner in this at all, so the color actually won't change. I think that's one of the things that we want to take away from today, is that sometimes we don't need to always just go for the bleach. You can go for a high lift tint and get beautiful tonal colors that have no damage at all. You happy?
I'm so happy.
Amazing!
I love it.
Hi guys, today I'm going to be working on Beth. I'm going to show you how to create a really dimensional, low maintenance blonde. And we're going to be working in a few really simple sectioning patterns. We're going to have some different foiling techniques, and then we're going to zone tone at the basin to create that beautiful blend. So yeah, let's do it. So I am going to be using a few different formulas today. I'm going to be using the foils. I'm going to be using Lightener 30 and Botanical Repair. For my hairline foils, I always like to mix up an Enlightener 5, just because that hair is always, it's a lot more fragile and it can be broken a lot easier. So I like to just go slow and steady with Enlightener 5. And then for my tip outs on the ends, I'm going to do Enlightener 5 and Botanical Repair, just because she is blonde already, so I don't need too much lift, I just want to clean them out. So my ratio is going to be 1 to 2, and then I'm going to be using the viscosity to thicken that up so I've got a nice consistency. So I'm going to be doing 30 grams of enlightener, so this is for my foil mix. I'm going to be doing 60 grams of 30 ball. I'm going to be doing a splash of this, and a couple splashes of this. And then I always like to use our Eco Head to mix my product because I like a really creamy consistency. This also makes your colour go for longer, so you get more out of your colour rather than if you mix it by hand. I find that the colour doesn't whip as much and you don't get as much product in your bowl. So we're going to be creating a really soft dimensional blonde, something that Beth only has to get topped up every 6 months, and in between times we just have to do toners to brighten it up. So we're going to be going through, I want to go around the hairline, I want to do a beautiful face frame, so we're going to be using some weaves and some slices. I'm going to be doing the exact same at the back to mirror that, so that when she has her hair up it's really nice and bright. Through the back we're going to be doing again some slices with some teased sections, and accompanying that with some weaves to make it really soft. We're going to be not taking anything to the root, everything's going to be feathered apart from the face frame, and we're just going to be working on 1 or 2 sections, so working through the hairline throughout the front and the back first, and then working up the sides as we go on. Started on our face frame. So these 3 foils, I always work around the hairline in 3 sections. Started with a really nice baby light, so that there's still a lot of her natural through there, so when her hair is put back it's really nice and soft. And then we've backed that up with a slice that's been teased, and then again another baby light. And then I'm working in about centimetre sections. I'm doing a teased slice, backed up with a baby light a bit closer to the root, just so her natural, once I've zone toned and I've stretched the root out, that's her natural is just going to sparkle underneath the zone tone. So I'm going to carry on going up the sides like this. Each section has about 1 centimetre in between. So our next section here is going to be our teased slice. So it's a thin slice. So I'm teasing from about mid-length right up. I'm using the Foil Me heavy foils. I just like them because I think they're a bit more sturdy. So I'm holding right at the bottom. Where that natural comes down and starts to meet this blonde, that's where I'm starting to paint. So I'm going to paint on and then flick up. This is going to give a really soft blend and stop you getting any demarcation like this. So we're going to paint and flick. And that's just going to give us a really nice soft up with a really nice baby light. I'm going to do the same technique. I'm going to paint on and flick up. So I'm just going to take that slightly closer to the root, and I'm not teasing that. Just so this comes over the top of your slice and it just all blends out nicely. So again, paint on, and then we're going to flick up. And again. So I'm going to work right up to a middle part. So when I get to her part up here, I'm going to start working at an angle. I'm not going to come up to a horizontal section on her part line, because then when it grows out, you're going to see those highlights. So everything is on a diagonal. When I get to the top of there, I'm going to go around and I'm going to do her hairline at the back, the exact same as what I've done here. So I'm going to do a baby light, a teased slice, and then another baby light around here, so it just gives us brightness and it pops out through the front. I want to saturate at the ends. This is my Enlightener 5 in Botanical Repair. And then you're going to hold that end and flip up. It's just going to clean out the ends. Obviously they are super blonde, but they're just gone a bit warm. Because I'm only doing a partial head of foils, I'm not doing a full head of foils, I still want to brighten up the back. I want to leave some depth under here, that's why I'm not doing a full head. So I want to leave some natural so that the blonde pops. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tip out these ends to clean them out and keep all that natural at the root. We're going to just do a really heavy textural weave. We're going to tease up. And we're just going to clean out those ends with my Enlightener 5. again, just flicking up to get a nice blend. Fold this bit up first so that that doesn't go onto any of that natural. You want to keep this blend really soft. If I was to fold this up, you'll get some of this spotting on that blonde, on that darker blonde. So now I'm going to go onto my front triangle. The reason I do this is it just gives you a really nice face frame, and this is the area that you see first when you look at anyone. So I'm going to make sure all of her front section is foiled nicely on the hairline, and then I'm still going to leave a bit of depth at the root, but it's just going to blend out really nice and pop around her face. So we're going to be working around her hairline. Everyone's hairline is very different in the front. Some people's can be a little more straight across, whereas hers comes down to a little bit of a peak. I want this to be really soft when she puts her hair back, so you want to work with the hairline. Sometimes I would just go in with one foil around the front, but that's just not going to get close enough to the root here. Follow her hairline by going through with a baby light here, a baby light here, and then we're going to do working threes again. So we're going to do a slice that's slightly teased, and then again another baby light, the same there, and that's just going to fall really nicely around her face and be a really soft face frame. Just rinsed out our foils, and as you can see they've brightened up, but there's no demarcation, so you could not tone, you could just leave them how they are, but I want to put on a really nice root stretch just to blend that out and make the ends pop. So we're going to use 7 light ash with some dark intense ash. The dark intense ash is just going to help to replicate the natural, so it's nice and flat. And then yeah, I'm not going to tone the ends, I'm just going to pull down that root stretch, which I'll show you in a second, and let the ends pop out nice and bright. So I'm going to do 40 grams of 7. That means I've got 16 grams of tone to work with. I'm going to do 14 grams of light ash, and then I'm going to do 2 grams of dark intense ash. I love this trick. I know you shouldn't put dark intense ash into a 7, but it's just really nice to make the root stretch really flat, and it fades off really nice without it being warm. Then we're going to use 5 liquid. It's nice and easy to apply. So I've prepped the hair by rinsing the foils. I've done a detox shampoo just to clean out those ends of any warmth, any build-up of silver shampoo, any heat damage from any warmth from heat damage. And then I've shampooed and I've conditioned just so it's really comfortable for the client, for me brushing out the teasing. If you don't condition, I find that it's just really uncomfortable for the client when you're brushing out the teasing, and it takes forever. So I'm going to section out the face frame. I'm going to come at an angle. If I go down straight down, that's going to end up being really heavy. So I want this just to peek through from underneath. So we're going to follow her hairline. We're going to come in and then back out. So we're going to come at an angle and back out. So those foils that I put down the hairline, it's the same concept as the front. I don't want to put a root stretch on them. I want them to stay brighter, so that when she puts her hair up, it just all blends really nicely. If I was to root stretch them out, it would kind of defeat the purpose of even putting those foils in. So you can get this on nice and fast. Just apply the colour generously. Aveda process is pretty quick as well, so I'll normally just put my roots on, brush it down to blend it in, and then leave it for around 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how much coverage I want. I'm going to leave this on for about 5, just so I really want it to dump down a little bit more so that it does make the ends feel brighter. So then this brush, you can be really heavy-handed with this and really drag that colour down so that it blends nice. But you can see when I do brush it, it's only dragging down about another inch, and then no colour is travelled down on the brush, so it keeps those ends bright. If I was leaving this on for longer than 5 minutes, I would come through with this brush every 5 minutes to drag it down so you don't get any demarcation. If I was leaving it on for like 15, I'd come past 3 times and drag it down a little bit more every time. Okay, we're done. So we can see we've got a really nice beachy, neutral blonde, nothing too warm, nothing too ashy. A really nice soft face frame that just peeks out from underneath, and really nice soft dimension at the top, nothing harsh at all, and it'll grow out beautifully. So yeah, I didn't tone the ends at all, just detoxed them to get, and then a silver shampoo just to make them nice and clean and bright, and then we've got that nice zone tone through here that makes the ends pop. Okay, so when you're going to take that perfect picture for Instagram that makes everyone stop swiping, you really want to get some volume on the sides. I like to take my picture from lower down as well, so that you make the client look more empowered. When you are swiping, the picture just has a bigger impact. Natural lighting, always face the natural light. Never have the natural light coming from behind, always from the front. Also love using the Shampoo Dry Shampoo to really fluff out the hair and fatten up the sides so it feels really volumized. And underneath here, really put a lot of product in here so that it holds and it just frames her face really beautifully. But yeah, just using products, like using volumizing products to get that fluffiness, it just really looks beautiful in a picture. So yeah, there we go.
So this is Prue. She's a long-term client of mine that we do a bang and blonde on her every 6 weeks. Today I'm going to show you guys how to take it back to basics. I feel like everything is inundated, the industry, with balayage, but we've forgotten about your natural blondes. So I'm going to take it back to basics and do a couple highlights and a tint toner at the basin, and Prue is going to look banging. So with Prue's hair today, again, I'm doing hairline foils. So you want to be super gentle around the hairline. So I'm going to do enlightener and 5 vol, and then for the rest of the hair I'm going to use 20 vol. I'm just going to do standard highlights through the top. So I'm going to use about 10 grams of the enlightener and the 5 vol for the hairline. I like my mix 1 to 1.5. I'm quite picky about it because I don't love to mess around with viscosity. And then just straighten the ping again because we love it to be light and fluffy. And then I'm going to use just 20 vol through the rest of the hair. I'll probably need about 30 grams of that to about, give or take, 45 to 50 grams of 20 vol. That's it. I'm going back to basics. I'm going to do a face frame with those really nice 5 vol enlightener foils. And then today I'm going to scatter a couple of the foils with the 20 vol through here just to break up some of the dark. And then, I don't know if you can see from there, but we've got Prue's natural colour coming back through because usually I tint tone, which I'll show you all later how to mix that up. But for now, it's just going to shift her base half a shade on wet hair and just gives it that shine and gloss and brings some warmth back into her blonde. So here I highlighted this one the last time. I'm actually going to skip it out this time because I am all about healthy hair. I'm not going to over process that. I'm just going to go back in and get a different section that's a little bit more, hair's got a little bit more sustenance to it. So just go in and do my first baby light. I'm sorry. Do you want to put my
you're good. Yeah.
Being super careful not to overlap too much.
Sorry.
So I'm just going to weave all the way up here around the hairline. You can see where I've previously done it there to go in. Literally just from the bottom of the crown to the top of the ear, because this is how I'm sort of going from this angle and sort of weaving all the way up. So my face line is about 3 foils deep, again on this side, being gentle that I don't over process the hair as I did it the last time, and then work my way up.
Yeah, blended like a champion.
Nice and fine around the hairline. Prue tends to tie her hair back quite a lot. You'll notice as well with my foils, I tend to do them up quite tightly around the hairline so they don't slip. But as I go up to the top, don't fold them up too much because we like to cut time down in the salon. Just wanted to show you as well my foil. I'm doing like quite a really fine medium weave. So my width is really shallow, but they're quite chunky because Prue has quite a lot of hair. So if you do them too fine, you literally won't see them. So you can literally see through my weave. And this is my 20 bowl.
Oh my god, I had forgotten about it.
This is what I was saying before about don't stuff around folding up your foils. You cut so much time out. So Prue is ready to rinse. Her foils look like the inside of a banana. And I just ever so softly drag that excess bleach through her ends, just for that 5 minutes or so while I'm pulling them out. So I'm doing a tint toner with the full spectrum range. I'm going to do about 40 grams of the 10N. I'm going to need another tube. And then I think it's 2 grams of the light VB, and I'm using 10 vol. So before I start applying a tint toner, I always make sure that the hair is really easily brushed out, otherwise it's going to just be a bit of a mess. So the tint toner is going to be on just Prue's regrowth, which is about 9 weeks, a little longer than usual. It's quite a quick application because it does process quite fast, but it just shifts her natural, that half a shade, and gives it a bit of warmth. A lot of blondes have quite flat, naturally blonde hair, so this just brightens it up a little. And I let this process for about 3 to 5 minutes, and I just watch it really carefully. I will admit though, you do get a regrowth line, so it tends to be a bit more of a high maintenance blonde. So it's usually about that 6 to 8 week mark that you'll really notice and need to come in and get your hair done. So pretty! Amazing. So today I stuck to the brief and I did everything I said I was going to do. I've done my enlightener and 5 vol foils all around Prue's hairline, my 20 vol and enlightener foils scattered through the top, and a 10 VB and 10 vol tint toner to break up her natural. And she looks divine!
Alright guys, that is an absolute wrap from us today. Thank you so much for watching us. If you use any of our techniques, make sure you tag us on Instagram at Frankie Salon. We've loved today and we hope you have too. So yeah, see you later.
Thanks.
Bye.